All right. Good afternoon, or should I say good evening today, everyone. Welcome to Fwmd Live. Today, we are going to be taking a look back at our top moments of our show during 2020. And we also have three of our medical school students joining us today for an Ask Me Anything session about life as a medical student that will also include some School of Medicine swag giveaways. So yes, we have some prizes to give away, and you can take something home or, well, get something mailed to you if you just stick with us throughout the live chat. All right, we will also tell you a little bit about the Million Step Challenge that's going on right now in December that our medical students are a part of. It is an initiative with the nonprofit organization called Dana's Footprints. And this initiative is going to raise enough money to buy 120 pairs of shoes for school children in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this holiday season. So a very good initiative, and we're going to learn more about it coming up. I'm Prescott Stokes III, the Integrated Content and Marketing Manager here at the TCU and UNT HSC School of Medicine. And today I am happy to have Sarah Lyon joining us for our conversation.
Hi, everyone.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Sarah is a second-year medical student at the School of Medicine, and I am also happy to have Antonio, or Tony as we like to call him, Ibukiti, joining us today for our conversation.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. Tony is a first-year medical student here at the School of Medicine. And last but not least, I'm also happy to have Sam Said joining us for our conversation today. How you doing, Sam?
Good. Thanks for having me, Prescott.
All right. Sam is also a first-year medical student here at the School of Medicine, and Sam is also a co-founder of Dana's Footprints, the nonprofit organization in Arlington that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. So we'll learn more about Dana's Footprints and Sam a little bit later. But if you would like to be a part of our conversation, all you have to do is leave your question in the comment section, and then I will make sure our medical students get you some answers. And I just want to let you know, anyone who comments today or asks a question, you will be entered into a random drawing for some fabulous medical school swag. You might get you a t-shirt, you might get you a pen, you might get you a coffee mug, you never know, right? But all you need to do is comment today and leave a question for our medical students. And don't forget to make sure that you like our Facebook page, so that way we can connect directly with you afterwards to get you your medical school swag. All right, so you got the rules. Let's get it started. All right, so Sarah, we're gonna start with you. Now, I know since October, our second-year medical students have been in their longitudinal integrated clerkship clinical immersions so far. And I know it's coming to an end maybe next week, but can you just give us an idea of what this experience has been like for you, being able to be inside of a hospital right now?
Absolutely. Yes. So as Prescott said, I'm an MS2, and we just are finishing up our LIC immersions experience, which is our intensive hospital experience where we get to go in. We do 3 weeks in internal medicine, 3 weeks in surgery, 2 weeks in OBGYN, and then 1 week in pediatrics. And it's really awesome to be able to participate in patient care. I feel like I've been able to apply all the basic science knowledge as an MS1 now onto actual patients. And it makes me feel like my confidence and my knowledge has just skyrocketed. And it's just been incredible. This school is unique in that I get to do this as a second year. Most schools, you have to wait until third year. And it's been incredible. And then in January, we get to start our outpatient experience. So more to come.
All right, that sounds great. And I also just want to let everybody know, if you scroll back on our Facebook page, we had NBC5 do a very great story on our second year medical students last month, just talking about their experience. We had Connor Rodriguez that was a part of that story. We had Faria Kimani, who was a part of that story as well, just talking about their experience on the front lines in hospitals. So you can find a link to that story, really good information. And also, if you have questions about life being a medical student right now during a pandemic, jump into the comments, and then I will let our fabulous medical students answer your question, but I will also maybe get you into to win some School of Medicine swag. So make sure you jump in the comments and leave your question. The easiest way to get entered is just asking a question. But before we get to that, I want to talk about one of our top moments from 2020. Now, we have done a lot of shows this year, about 40, since the COVID-19 pandemic began. And so one of those shows, we talked to our medical students about being featured in TCU Magazine, and they were the subjects of a long feature cover story in August. So we had second-year medical student Jonas Cruz with us talking about how that story actually begins. And the story begins with him handling a human brain. Let's hear what Jonas had to say about that particular experience.
Magazine did just, I think, a wonderful job of being able to capture those little moments. And I think that's what's really cool about this, is so much can get swept on it, that moments like that, I can take a moment and read it and go, oh yeah, we did that. And so it's able to hold on to those moments when you actually have the time to sit down and reflect on it. So it was still a very new experience, but it wasn't until, like the story says, later that night I was talking to my wife, and I thought about it, and I said, wow, that actually, you take a step back, what a weird day for anybody else to say. So it was, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to experience. And
all right, so that was Jonas talking about being in the TCU Magazine story, and that story actually will be following our students, our first year, our inaugural class of medical students that began last summer in July 2019. Throughout their 4 years, it's 6 students, and the story will just follow their journey being medical students at a brand new medical school. Now, we will put the link in the comments if you want to get over and read the first part of that story, which is at tcu.edu/TCU Magazine. So you can go to TCU Magazine's website and read that full story and learn a little bit more about Jonas and also our 5 other students that are part of that story. So make sure you jump in the comments and leave your questions for our students, because I can get you entered to get some medical school swag. But Tony, let me come to you now. So you are a first-year medical student. You just started medical school this past July. Can you tell us a little bit about how your experience has been as a first-year medical student and learning a lot of your basic sciences remotely during the pandemic?
Yes, of course, Prescott. It's still kind of surreal, right? Because, just being accepted to medical school and starting medical school. So you still have those kind of butterflies, that excitement, but at the same time, it's kind of bittersweet as well, because you want to be in class with your peers learning. You want to be able to have those interactions with them and faculty as well. So it is a little difficult to have to take a step back and to, do a lot of our learning remotely. But I don't really think we've missed a beat in terms of learning. I feel like a lot of our learning, if anything, has kind of been augmented a little bit, right? Because we can just kind of roll out of bed sometimes and get to class on our computer, as opposed to, taking a 10 or 15 minute drive to get to campus. So in terms of learning, I don't think that has been affected, but maybe the overall interactions with, our day-to-day and interacting with faculty and students, maybe that's taken a hit, but we keep going, we keep persevering.
And Tony, one other thing that I just want to ask you, how about collaborating? How has it been, even though you haven't gotten a chance to meet a lot of your classmates in person? How has the collaborative experience been for you online?
Honestly, our school does a lot of things, a lot of opportunities for us to collaborate, right? So we're always in different, Zoom breakout rooms, or we always have different modules that really allow us to interact with a lot of different classmates and throughout a lot of different varieties of settings. We also do a lot of things on campus still, right? Whether it is clinical skills that we have kind of in a hybrid and a socially distanced safe environment, where we get to involve our clinical skills aspect and actually still interact with our classmates and kind of do a lot of collaboration. And even recently, when we were doing anatomy, we had the opportunity to collaborate, in the actual anatomy lab and do some of those cool things that Jonas was talking about earlier. So there's still a lot of opportunities. We even still kind of go to the libraries when we can, socially distance wise, and make times for that. So we're making the best out of the situation.
All right, nice. And while you guys have been talking, got a couple shout outs. So Ben Jacobs, how you doing, Ben? Ben said he's so proud of his classmates. So Sam, Tony, I know Ben is one of your peers in the class of 2024. So he's proud of watching you guys right now. And also Jimmy said, lovely smile, Sam. So there's another shout out for you. Now, just make sure if you have any questions about what it's like to be a medical student during a pandemic, or just what it's like to be in medical school, we have 3 of our medical students here. All you have to do is jump in the comments and leave a question, and then I'll make sure they get you an answer. And also you might win you some School of Medicine swag. So it's another incentive to jump in the comments. But let's talk about another one of our top moments of 2020 right now. So this next clip I'm going to show is from our May 22nd show with Shauna Kennard, and we had our students on with our founding dean, Stuart Flynn, just talking about how COVID-19 has affected the way they collaborate with their medical school colleagues. So let's hear Shauna tell us a little bit about how that had been going.
As far as the delivery of the information and the courses have been fine, but as far as collaboration, I clearly took for granted how much I worked with my classmates, and we would solve problems together. And I just think back to when we were at IREB, you know, there will be Sarah in one study room doing this elaborate, beautiful map that would show all the nooks and crannies of a mechanism of action. Connor would be down the hall and he would have these super detailed, amazing study guides and notes that could give you some more insight, or if you missed something, paying attention during class. And then Dylan comes up with the most amazing ways to remember things. So like his mnemonics are bar none. Like I love it. If I need to remember something, Dylan always has like a trick up his sleeve. So having that experience, I missed it. And as wonderful as Zoom is, sometimes it just can't compare to being around my classmates. Like our energy is so infectious, so energizing, and so motivating. And I miss my class so much.
All right, so that was Charna basically about to make all of us cry that day, talking about collaborating with her classmates. But the interesting thing about that question that I want to let everybody know is that Sam was actually the person who jumped in the comments and left that question for Charna prior to being accepted and actually attending our School of Medicine. So Sam, can you just tell us what you thought about that day when she answered your question?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said. It was just a beautiful response, and it kind of let me, you know, take a little introspective look about how med school was going to be for me, in that we weren't going to have that opportunity to establish those relationships off the jump. We were going to have to form a type of relationship online, and I think we've done a good job. Tony highlighted it really well, and for the lack of interaction that we've had, we haven't really missed a beat. And so when we do get in person, the sky's the limit.
And we got a question from Jimmy. Thanks for your question, Jimmy. He said, what has been y'all's, so Texas and so Southern. I love it, Jimmy. What has been y'all's biggest wow moment as a med student so far? Has it been learning something cool, helping someone via volunteering or the LIC or the anatomy lab experience? So Tony, I'll open that up to you one time.
Yeah, I think it's really just difficult to just pinpoint one particular moment because it's just been so many different moments, right? I got to think about just past week when we actually got to kind of saw into our cadavers donated by, you know, donors who once lived, right? We got to open up their chest and hold their lungs and hold their hearts, you know, moments that a lot of people never get the opportunity to do, for sacrifices that a lot of folks really kind of take for granted. I think about LIC sometimes when we have patients and our preceptor is saying, you know, take the lead on this. What do you think? What is your opinion? What do you think the plan of action should be for your particular patient? And he's saying, your patient, not my patient, your patient. So it really gives you a lot of perspective that, oh wow, this is medicine. This is things that are going to elevate me and allow me to reach my dreams and get closer to becoming a physician one day to heal others and to help my community.
And Sarah, I guess I just want to pose the same question to you. Since you're in your second year, has there been like a different wow moment that you've had versus some of the wow moments you had in your first year?
Absolutely. I agree with Tony that there's so many moments, but one that I had most recently was during my surgery rotation. And it was the rotation that I was most looking forward to. I've always thought that surgery might be my perfect fit. And I was scrubbing into my first surgery and I'm doing all of the motions and everything. And it was sort of like I had an out of body experience and I was looking down on myself and I was finally scrubbing in on a surgery and I was really doing it. And it just, I had this overwhelming feeling of just gratefulness and privilege and just so happy that I made it here. It's been incredible.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. I do want to let everybody know, if you jump in the comments, if you have a question about life as a medical student, our medical students are here. I'll definitely make sure they get you some answers and share their perspective. And also you can get entered to win some School of Medicine swag. Sam, I want to come back to you because our communications team had a bit of a wow moment the first time we talked to you on Zoom after you guys kind of did your first week of class, and you talked to us about Dana's footprints. And Dana's footprints, you actually started in honor of your sister who passed away. Can you just tell us a little bit about Dana and why what she did for you was so important for you starting this nonprofit organization and helping young school children get a pair of new shoes?
Sure. Thanks again, Prescott. Again, I'm Sam Sayed, and my brother Sharif and I are the founders of Dana's Footprints. Our mission is to provide students with brand name sneakers of their choice, any sneaker they want, but while also working to bring awareness to the less obvious social structures that create learning inequities in underserved and at-risk communities, like simply having a pair of shoes that you can wear proudly and confidently to school. We created this initiative, like Prescott said, to honor our late sister Dana, who herself gifted us our first pair of name brand shoes shortly before she was tragically taken away from us by senseless gun violence. Uh, all of us, Sarah, Tony, myself, we all have our own purposeful and meaningful interests and reasons for wanting to pursue medicine. For me, I developed an passionate interest in the care of underserved communities. Dana's Footprints allows for me to attack that interest from multiple angles, and medicine will ultimately be my greatest tool in addressing the social determinants of health, wealth, and education. Super excited because this year we partnered with my classmates in the School of Medicine to expand our initiative to 3 communities here in Fort Worth. And we already have one in Arlington, which is our parent school that my brother and I attended when we were young. So with the School of Medicine, we accomplished our goal by challenging people across the nation. And I mean across the nation, from California to Philadelphia, people in Chicago, to a weightlifting challenge in the month of November. And then we've continued our efforts in the month of December by challenging them to a hashtag 120 for 120 million step challenge. My classmates also created, implemented, and executed a very successful Giving Tuesday. So again, that was just another way that we've proven that we can collaborate online. And today I'm just super, super happy to announce that, we've raised over $18,000 to serve 4 different communities. And I'm incredibly grateful for my like-minded classmates. As a unit, we truly believe that we're working to shape the lives of so many young students and people in our community before they ever step foot in our doctor's office. So I'm happy to take any questions. Hit the comment box so you can get some swag. And thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no, it's great, Sam. And what we'll do is we'll put the story about this initiative in the comments so that way you can read more about Dana's Footprints and Sam's sister, and also how you all can get involved and help donate money. But that is phenomenal that you all have raised $18,000 in just less than 2 months to actually get these school children some shoes. And actually, you guys are going to bring the children to get the shoes after Christmas, right? So maybe like the first weekend in January, if I'm correct, Sam?
So our OG school, as we call it, Foster Elementary, is already set up for January 4th. So we'll do that January 4th. And as of right now, we're working to schedule the 3 other communities. And it should be, hopefully before they even return to school.
All right, that sounds great. So make sure you click the link to the story in the comments, and that link will actually get you to the Dana's Footprints website where you can make a donation and help a lot of children. Tony, I just want you to talk to me a little bit about being a part of helping Sam with this initiative. When you think about coming to medical school and getting into medicine, was this something you envision your experience being like in medical school, helping out with initiatives like this one?
It's kind of funny because I've always envisioned it, but I never thought it would exceed that expectation. So when Sam approached me about it, obviously we've exchanged many stories and we grew up in similar type of backgrounds, and in terms of underserved communities. It was more so the mission and the passion and the purpose behind it that really drew me toward, and working alongside my classmates, how we were able to kind of all put our interests aside and say, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to uplift our communities, that not just, going to school and getting an education. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. But we also want to be able to impact the communities around our school. And so this was a perfect opportunity that Sam presented towards us. And I think a lot of our class were on board because of what it meant, right? What it meant to the communities and ultimately what it's going to mean beyond. So.
All right, that sounds great. And I want to let you all know, if you leave a question, you can get yourself entered to win some School of Medicine swag. Make sure you like our Facebook page so that way we can contact you directly. The winners are going to be chosen at random. So leaving a ton of questions won't guarantee you get some swag, but if you leave at least one question, you have the opportunity to win you some School of Medicine swag and also gain some more insight from our medical students about what it's like to be a medical student. So Cindy Yang just left a question. Thank you for your question, Cindy, and thank you for watching. So her question is, how easy is it to start or pursue something new, like a student interest group or research pursuit at the School of Medicine? And also, is it hard to get the necessary faculty student program support? She also says she loved your IG takeover this week, Tony. So there you go, boom, shout out for that. But Sarah, I actually want you to answer this question first, because you have done a lot of student initiatives since March with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Absolutely. And I was going to bring this up in terms of obstacles and challenges that we may have had because of the pandemic. One of the actual opportunities that we had because of the pandemic was being able to have the ability to put on unique virtual community engagement opportunities. So since March, we've done a virtual blood drive, the PPE drive, the bone marrow drive, the book supplies drive, and the School of Medicine votes. So we've had all these opportunities to engage with the community, not only in Fort Worth, but all over, because we have people watching on Instagram, on Facebook. We're able to get family support because we have a lot of out-of-state students, and we're able to do that very easily at the School of Medicine. The Office of Student Affairs is very supportive, and I have wanted to run a lot of these, and I have had no issues whatsoever. And I've had amazing support from the marketing department. And then as far as research, we're actually required to do a 4-year research project. So it's completely set up. There's a database of researchers that we can work with. We get to formulate our own question and work on it for 4 years. So we can do anything that we want, which is great.
The sky's the limit once you get to the TCU and UNT-HSC School of Medicine, as Sarah has just so eloquently explained. So thank you for your question, Cindy. We really appreciate it. I hope that helped. Make sure you jump in the comments, leave your question, get entered to get some medical school swag, and also some insight from our medical students. But now let's take a moment to look at another one of our top moments during 2020 on our show. So we've talked about some serious initiatives that our medical students have been doing in the community here, and also with FWM. What we have done this year is have serious conversations where health disparities are actually at the front and center of some of these conversations. So back on June 9th, we had a conversation about talking to your children about racism and the mental health effects that racism has on children. And so we had one of our faculty members, Dr. Amani Terrell, explain how you address systemic racism with a child that is actually biracial. Let's take a look.
I think it's going to be really important for parents to really understand that every single last part of their child, whether or not they have light hair, dark skin, light skin, whatever heritage they come from, it's beautiful, and we need to love it and celebrate it and appreciate it in a way that's very, very healthy. I think it's going to be really important to expose them to really everything, every culture, and not even just cultures specifically related to the child's multiple races, but even cultures that aren't related to those races, so they can see that the differences exist across multiple people and that they can appreciate their own differences in others as well.
All right, so that was Dr. Amani Terrell addressing a question about systemic racism and how do you explain that to a biracial child. One of our viewers actually asked that question during our show on June 9th. So Sarah, I want to come back to you. I know you've been talking a lot, but I just want you to talk about some of the challenges and also opportunities that the COVID-19 pandemic has presented to you as a second-year medical student.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, opportunities, I feel like we've been able to build our own opportunities by having community engagement projects and unique ways to engage with the community. As far as obstacles, the main obstacle that I've seen as an MS2 specifically, as COVID has risen in Texas, one of my last rotations is pediatrics, and the hospital that we do our pediatrics rotation in was unable to continue taking students because of the COVID situation here. So about a third of us were unable to do it in person, but 2/3 were able to do it before they closed down. But I will say that the faculty has done absolutely everything they can to maintain our experience at the pediatrics rotation. We were even able to Zoom with patients in the emergency room yesterday. So they're really doing everything that they can to make sure that we're still getting the education that we need and meeting those objectives that we need to acquire. And then hopefully as the vaccine is available, we'll be able to head back into the hospital for that rotation.
All right. And, I'm thinking about some of the challenges, but also opportunities. In our communications department, we decided to let our medical students do Instagram takeovers and kind of talk about their life as a medical student. And anybody could jump on and ask them questions. And we've had more than a dozen medical students do Instagram takeovers since the pandemic started in March. So Tony, you did your Instagram takeover this week. Can you just talk to me about maybe like what your goal was going into doing this Instagram takeover, but maybe what have you seen as far as questions from potential medical students?
Yeah, of course. So for my goal for Instagram takeover, I just want it to be authentic as possible. I wanted to give a real glimpse of what it's like for me to go throughout the week in terms of studying, in terms of the things I do on a day-to-day basis, some of the things that I, study with, some of the resources I use, and just kind of the things that keep me going, right? So one of the things that I tried to implement was a throwback Thursday of a lot of good memorable pictures of our class, so we can kind of get that remembrance of where we came from, so we can remember where we're going. And I really got a lot of questions kind of geared around the process of applying to medical school, MCATs, budgeting. I got a lot of questions about my personal interest and why I wanted to go to medical school, as well as just kind of what the school brings that was kind of unique, right? That made me drawn towards the medical school, which honestly, I feel like any of us, Sam or Sarah, we could talk about that for hours. So it was pretty easy in that retrospect to really just kind of engage with different people, different questions that they had, and just really give a glimpse of my life throughout the week.
And I thought one thing, I was looking at the Instagram story, you suggested for the holiday season, anybody who had a loved one or a friend or whatever who may be just thinking about going into medical school, to get them the US, I don't want to pronounce it wrong, USMLE Step 1 book. Am I saying that correct, Tony?
Correct. So that your USMLE Step 1 book is called First Aid, and it's pretty much like the holy Bible of medical students. It has everything that you need to know, very succinct, very concise for your preparations for Step 1, your boards. And so my suggestion, my advice was for anybody to get that book for a loved one, because it will really prepare future medical students to kind of, get their journey started and get on the right track.
Right, right. And so we got a shout out in the comments. Thank you, Amber. I haven't seen Amber in forever. Amber Hawkins left a comment and said, Sarah is amazing at organizing and putting together so many different events and ideas. So boom, there you go, Sarah. There's a shout out for the day. Anybody who has questions for our medical students, just jump into the comments, leave your question. We will definitely get you some answers. And also leaving that question will get you entered into a random prize giveaway where you can get you some School of Medicine swag. So we are also highlighting the top moments of our FWMD Live show this year. And so our next video clip is from our Assistant Dean for Diversity and Inclusion, Dr. Lisa McBride. And this was from June 18th. This was a serious topic we talked about. We talked about Juneteenth. And we had a whole conversation about the importance of Juneteenth, the history of Juneteenth, and also racial disparities that came out of slavery and things like that. So Dr. McBride explained to us why Juneteenth is an important holiday to be celebrated by the African American community. Let's take a listen to Dr. McBride.
And so it is a celebration that was long overdue. And it's a celebration that recognizes our ancestors who came from Central and Western Africa in the transatlantic slave trade, who had faced harsh treatment for centuries. So to me, Juneteenth is a day of freedom, but it also is the blueprint for hundreds of movements that came after that, right?
All right, so that was Dr. McBride just giving us a little bit about the significance of African Americans in America celebrating Juneteenth. I want to also add that we also had a really good conversation on our FWMD Live about anti-Semitism as well. So if you go to the video section and then you scroll down to FWMD Live, you can take a look at all of those videos and all of those very important conversations that we have been having throughout the year. I do want to say Cindy left another comment for you guys. And Cindy says she recently got accepted. Congratulations, Cindy. Hand claps. Congratulations are in order. You got accepted into medical school. Yes. So hopefully we will see you in July, or our whole team will see you in July. But her question is, are you all close with your classmates from the second class? And also, she was just wondering what the student community is like. So Sam, I'll let you take a stab at it. Have you all been in really close contact with some of the MS2s?
Well, off the bat, you're gonna really see that the MS2s are a little bit tighter knit because they had nearly a full year together. But that doesn't mean that we haven't formed a relationship with amongst the MS1s either. One of the cool things about Fort Worth MD is that there's only a class of 60, and so you're going to form meaningful relationships with everyone in your class by the time you leave, whereas at other schools, the class sizes are a lot larger. And so despite being online, I think we've formed really, really meaningful relationships. And I bet Sarah could speak a little bit more about her class, in which they're super tight and you can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. We are. I think that it says a lot about the admission. Well, first of all, congratulations, Cindy. I hope that you come. And I think that it says a lot about the admissions committee and what they're looking for. I really feel that everyone that I've met embodies the empathetic scholar, and embodying that, they're some of the best friends I've ever met in my life. Just all really good, kind people. We all want each other to succeed. There's not any, you hear these horror stories about med school and backstabbing and, not wanting other people to succeed, but it's just the exact opposite of that. And I feel so supported by all my classmates. And I know that if something was happening and I needed someone to be at my apartment, I could easily have 20 people here in 5 minutes. So I'm just so happy. And as far as our interactions with MS1s, we have a mentor-mentee sort of peer buddy relationship where every MS1 is paired up with an MS2. And that's been a really great way for me to sort of check in on the MS1 and see how exams are going. And she can ask me about rotations, and it forms a really great bond. So I think that while COVID has been challenging, we've done the best that we can.
And another cool thing that we did a couple months ago, I had Sam and Charna actually came to our communications department and asked us to help them create a little bit of a motivational video for the MS1s when they took their very first test. That video is actually on our Facebook page, so you all can watch it at any time. If you go to the video section. But Sam and Tony, do you guys remember seeing that video before your first test in August?
I do, and it definitely, it made me feel more, I guess, seen, more supported, especially because, right, we were so like thick into the study and we didn't even really think about like the outside world, but it's the fact that the MS2s took enough time to do that for us. It really kind of made us feel empowered and even more special and appreciated.
Yeah. How about you, Sam?
Yeah, I think I speak for most of us when I say you're not going to forget your first test. And because it's just such a big deal and it's something that you probably overstudy for, and all the emotions in the world are taking place. And one thing that I'm not going to forget about that test is what the MS2s did for us that morning. Waking up to that video just kind of speaks to what kind of class we have. It's an amazing. It was just an amazing feeling. It calmed my nerves and let me know that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Right. Nice. Tony, we got a question from Carol Deacon. Hi, Carol. Thank you for your question. She said, what is the name of the book students interested in med school should have? And you mentioned it earlier, right?
Oh, First Aid. Sorry about that. I was like, wait, what book is she talking about? Yes, First Aid. So First Aid 2020, but for you all, it'll probably be First Aid 2021. Congratulations as well, Cindy. And like I said, it's pretty much the blueprint to being successful on your board exams, or USMLE first step 1 exam.
All right, nice. And Sarah, you got another shout out in the comments. Mary Howardson says, Sarah is my mentor and she's great. People think the world of you, Sarah.
Well, and thank you, Amber, for the earlier comment. And Mary is a wonderful mentee. So it goes both ways.
Yeah. And Mary also is helping out with the Dana's Footprints initiative as well with Sam and Tony. So thanks for watching, Mary. I just want to let everybody know this is Fwmd Live. We have our students here for Ask Me Anything. So if you have questions about what it's like to be a medical student, jump in the comments, leave your question, and that will automatically enter you into a random drawing to get some School of Medicine swags. So maybe a t-shirt, maybe a pen, maybe a coffee mug, maybe a calendar, something like that. You can get entered. All you have to do is leave a question. So we are also talking about the top moments of our show during 2020. We have talked about a lot of serious topics and a lot of discussion around COVID-19 this entire year on Fwmd Live. And in our next clip, we have our Assistant Dean of Curriculum, Dr. Joanna Luke. And this was from September 30th, kind of at the beginning of the flu season. And Dr. Luke talked to us about patients with COVID-19 during the current flu season and how you can avoid getting COVID-19 and also avoid getting the flu as well. Let's take a look at what Dr. Luke had to say. All right. We are trying to get that clip for Dr. Luke. We don't have it right now at the moment, but that's okay. We can come back to it. Let's talk a little bit about your scholarly pursuit and thesis project and what it entails. I know Tony and Sam might be a little bit early on into coming up with their SPT project, but Sarah, can you give us some insight into what your project is this year?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, we're all required to do a SPT project, which is a 4-year project. And we have complete autonomy with the project, which is really great in terms of what our research question is, who we work with, what type of project we want to do. So I had worked in clinical research before medical school, and I knew that from that experience, I was more involved with the recruiting and the interviewing, physical exams, sort of front end portion of research. And I knew that when I did a research project here, I wanted to see what came after the data collection. So I'm working with a vascular surgeon and we're doing a retrospective study. So that means I'm looking at patients in the past 5 years, what their end outcomes have been from a certain type of surgery. And so right now I'm in the data collection and then statistical analysis sort of portion of my project.
All right, that sounds pretty cool. And we had a question that came from Deborah Atkinson. Hi, Dr. Atkinson. Man, I haven't seen, the pandemic has just been so crazy. I'm so used to seeing people in person. And I would see Dr. Atkinson a whole lot. Dr. Atkinson is one of our faculty members. She's a psychiatrist. She's also a physician development coach for our medical students. And so her question is actually, what has been the most helpful support you have had in your first year? So Tony, have you gotten any helpful support from our faculty and staff during your first year?
Yeah, I'll take the low-hanging fruit. I definitely believe that my coaches have been by far the most impactful, the most supportive. So there's a program here at TCU and UNTHSC School of Medicine, the Physician Development Coaches Program. And so we all have coaches for our learning community. And my coaches, Coach Daisy and Coach Samir, have been pretty much kind of like the staples I go to. I usually talk to them weekly, just about anything, honestly, whether it is something that's going on in academics or if it's something personal going on in my personal life, or even if it's something unique like me wanting to start a business or just anything, right? They're always there. They're always here to support. They're always here to help. And even the other coaches, right? So shout outs to Coach Deb, because even the other coaches are very supportive if you ask them anything or have any type of concerns. So I definitely think the coaches have been by far one of the best parts of the School of Medicine.
All right, nice. And so Sam, have you had a similar experience with your physician development coaches?
Yeah, I completely agree with Tony. Our coaches are just invaluable. It just means so much that nearly at the drop of a dime, they're willing to meet with you and cover anything or questions or concerns that you have. And they're just all around just really, really helpful and supportive. Coach Deb is not even my coach. And when I was doing a 24-hour, Zoom project for Giving Tuesday, she stayed up with me, to see me through the last, few hours all the way to, 12 a.m. And that just kind of highlights what type of support you have. They're going to give it to you even if you're not asking for it. Thanks again, Coach.
Right. And Sarah, has the dynamic kind of changed, or the guidance changed a little bit for you as a second-year medical student with your physician development coaches?
It has. It's so nice So I'm on Team Red or House Honorees, and my coach is Coach Jennifer, and she's an ER physician who actually works at the hospital where I was doing my surgery rotation. And it was so great to be able to message her while I was on my rotation and just say, hey, do you want to go grab a coffee or something? And was able to see her there. And then whenever anything happens in clinic and I'm not really sure what to do or what's appropriate, I'm able to just message her quickly. And it's amazing to have that sort of informal, in the moment advice that I really need when I'm on a rotation.
Nice. So the physician development coaches program is something that is unique to the School of Medicine here. So, you know, if you're a potential medical student and you're thinking about, you know, will you have someone to be with you and guide you outside of just your actual classmates? Well, we have that kind of infrastructure in place with the physician development coaches. So there you go. That's just some food for thought when you're considering what medical school you should attend. Maybe ours. I'm biased, but I think you should. All right, so we have got our video clip of Dr. Luke back. And so I just want to say that we talked about some serious topics around COVID-19 throughout the entire year on FWMD Live. And this was from September 30th at the beginning of flu season. And Dr. Luke talked to us about how to avoid getting COVID-19 and also avoid getting the flu during the current flu season that's happening right now. Let's take a listen to Dr. Luke.
Every shift, I'm definitely seeing patients with positive COVID tests. And then now we are just starting to see kind of that uptick of flu as well. So it's definitely, it's in our community. And really we would just, implore you, get the flu shot this year. It's more important than ever. To really help you not to have to come see me, to not have to come to the hospital. And then, as stated, all the things that work to help you not get COVID work to help you not get the flu.
All right, so that's Dr. Luke. Make sure you get your flu shot. You can still get flu shots, so make sure you get your flu shot, just an added layer of protection. And make sure you wash your hands, don't touch your face, and wear a mask. So that's our advice, and some good advice from Dr. Luke. So my next question to our students, and I'm just gonna go around to all three of you. How will you all spend your holiday break since it is the holiday season? Sam, what do you have planned during your break?
Man, I owe a lot of daddy time to my daughter. I have a 13-year-old, and she keeps track of what I've missed with her. So I owe her that. And by daddy time, I mean give her money to go shopping. So that's what she really wants. So it's gonna be a lot of Sophie time. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I feel your pain. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and it's quite the same. So there you go. My parenting advice for the year. So Tony, how do you plan to spend your break?
Well, hopefully not getting too behind in schoolwork, spending a little bit of time in a clinic with my preceptor, and definitely spending a lot of time with family and catching up on all my Netflix shows. So it's going to be an eventful winter break.
All right, nice. And Sarah, you have any plans for the holiday season?
So normally I would be flying to New Hampshire, but I'm doing the appropriate COVID response of not flying to New Hampshire. So I'll be staying here. And luckily my dad lives close to Dallas, so I'll be able to hang out with him. And I'll be catching up on a lot of sleep that I've been missing while I've been on hospital rotation.
Right, yeah, nah, sleep is always a good thing. You go and see your physician, they always ask you, how much sleep are you getting? So very important. So I'm seconding the catching up on sleep during the holidays, Sarah. I'm with you on that one. All right, and so that will actually do it for today's live chat. I want to give a very huge thank you to everyone on Facebook watching for being a part of today's live chat, and also a super special thanks to our medical students, Sarah Lyon, Tony Ibukiti, and Sam Said. Thank you all for joining us. Super appreciated. All right, so For more information on Dana's Footprints and the Million Step Challenge, we have a link in the comments that we've posted where you can read more about it. And you can also use that same link to get to the story, which also has a link where you can make a donation to help get some children in the Dallas-Fort Worth area some shoes for the holiday season. So a really good initiative being put on by Dana's Footprints and also our medical students here at the School of Medicine. Also, if you want to take this time during the holiday season to catch up on FWMD Live episodes, like I know you really want to do, and other amazing content about the TCU and UNT HSC School of Medicine, it's really easy. You can stay right here on our Facebook page and go to the videos tab. And then right there, you can find more content about FWMD Live, our student initiatives that we've had throughout the year, student life. And also you can get a look inside at what it's like to go through some of the courses in our curriculum from our first year, well, now second year medical students happening right now. Also, if you prefer, everybody has a preference, if you prefer to watch videos on YouTube in your spare time, don't worry, we've got you covered there as well. Go to youtube.com, make sure you search for the TCU and UNT HSC School of Medicine. Then make sure you like and subscribe to our page. And once you're there, you'll be able to see additional content from FWMD Live. We also have our meal prep on a budget series for our medical students that we do every couple months. We also have our Cooking with Friends series that we do for our faculty and staff every month, where they share recipes and their favorite dishes. We also have more videos about our student initiative, student life, and the curriculum as well. So you can stay on Facebook, or you can go to YouTube and get all of that content in video form. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching, and keep in mind that we will see you again in January really soon. We are going to have some special guests joining us to talk about the 1-year anniversary of COVID-19 being declared a world emergency. So we're going to start off the top of the year with a very important conversation about COVID-19 and where we think this is going to go through 2021. So make sure you like our Facebook page so you can get notified when that is going to happen. Once again, I want to thank everyone for watching. We are wishing you all a safe and happy holidays. And also, Juan Cabrera, our videographer, if you turn on your camera, Juan, so we can see you and get a happy holidays.
Why
there we go. I'm doing it, Juan. Also,
I'm here.
Our director of digital development, Marika Estrella Hastings. Mari, can you please turn on your camera and wave to everybody? There we go. Those are the two people you never see, but they're always helping get your questions from Facebook and put all those links as I talk myself into oblivion. So happy holidays from everybody here at the TCU and UNT HSC School of Medicine, and we will see you all again in January. And congratulations, Cindy. Bye.